Okay, listening to people complaining. This video is on listening to people complaining and not wanting to listen, and just talking about that. Okay, so and there's a number of things, and for me, it depends on the context as to how I would deal with someone who's complaining in front of me. And there's a few different contextual scenarios I would go through. One is this thing of like everything has a level of consciousness, everything has a vibration to it. So if I watch a horror movie, if I listen to gangster rap music, um, if I listen to someone just being in victim and complaining nonstop and try and tune into that, everything has a vibration to it. So to some extent, I mean, you can transcend the world, so you don't get hooked into things. But if you haven't transcended something, there's a vulnerability there to get hooked into that vibration and for it to pull you down from the vibration you were at. So let's say I was in peace and bliss, and then suddenly I tune into someone moaning about being a victim for 20 minutes. There's a risk I could suddenly start vibrating at their level. Yeah, this is, it could be either I'm just upset they've taken me out of bliss into trying to identify with a victim story, or it could be that I start tuning into my victim story. Uh, so, so there is that danger, and I think I love one of the things that I did want to share, is that Hawkins actually checked, like when people watch adverts on television. Usually, if you check how many times their energy fields collapse below negativity because of the negative messages in adverts, it's something, I don't know, something like 15 times in an advert, your energy collapsed and went negative because you were being programmed by negative messages. So, so it just shows, just looking at adverts, listening to people, also being programmed by people who are in negative programs and just unconsciously just being programmed by that without realizing it. It's a real, now, of course, some Course in Miracles students would just go and say, well, I don't believe that. But it's not necessarily that you don't believe it. If you've transcended it, then you're not at the effect. But just believing it doesn't mean you can't pick up the programs because you haven't transcended it. And so you could end up picking up all kinds of unwanted programs, and you could be uh, tuning into negative vibrations. So in general, I don't want to be, as a general, I like the thing, what is it? Trust in God and tie up your camels. I mean, you could say like, oh, if I just say that nothing in the world can affect me, then nothing does affect me. Now, on a certain level, that's true. And on a certain level, it may not be true if you haven't reached that level. So I just think it's good to be wise. And when possible, I'd rather not listen to people moaning and talking negativity for half an hour. I'd rather not watch television adverts. I'd rather not watch horror movies. I'd rather not listen to gangster rap music. I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but I believe in, I mean, there is something in wisdom. And I could say that I'm at the level of an avatar and nothing can affect me, but maybe I'm not, so maybe then it's wise not to be listening to gangster music and listening to people complaining the whole day long. So now there is some things to that. Sometimes I might listen to someone who's complaining and do the anti-karma prayer. It's like, how comes I've got a deep relationship with this person and I can't get away from them and they're always complaining and there's no easy option out? Um, then I would suspect like the universe is forcing me to have to listen to unending complaining and I can't escape easily. Then I'd see there's some kind of spiritual significance in that relationship, probably some past life interaction where I enforced my moaning and complaining, and the person couldn't get away from me, and they just had to suffer my endless moaning. Yeah, I could be married to someone, or it could be some kind of situation with a family member, and there's no easy way of just, escaping. So then I'd start probably doing something like going to the observer whenever they're around to kind of have the illusion of being present, but also not being present at the same time, being blissed out, but being there as well. and just witnessing rather than being personally attaching to what they're saying. Or I might just listen to them and cancel my belief in, just have like a belief thing, like I cancel my belief in complaining. I'm an infinite being, to remind myself not to believe in the world of complaining. Or I might be intuitively drawn to do the anti-karma prayer. Dear God, I humbly pray for forgiveness for the one in me who in this lifetime and others has inflicted my complaining non-stop on others who cared for me or loved me or were responsible for me. And I pray to God for forgiveness for the one in me who did that and do that over and over again, because I'm getting this intuition that it's a lesson, and the universe wants me to transcend the lesson of having to be forced to listen to someone moaning and complaining non-stop. So now on other issues where I don't think that's happening, it's like I have a choice. I can I can join a an employment situation or join an occupation where or join a group where people just complain non-stop and don't do any spiritual work. But then I can easily choose not to do that and go to a place, like a Course in Miracles group where they share, rather than go to a moaning group. So for me, in that case, it's kind of obvious. I need to make the choice to stop putting myself in that situation. And I can easily make the choice to let that go. I don't need to suffer that. And for me, it'd be spiritual stupidity any longer. So generally speaking, my thing would be on complaining is if I feel that the universe, there's a lesson for me, then I would try and transcend it with the observer or cancellings or whatever, or the anti-karma prayer. But if I think it's just an easy option where I can just avoid it, I definitely would avoid it. I wouldn't, make a choice to go to a group where everyone's just complaining non-stop when I don't have to. It's different if it's a family member or it's a marriage or something. I think there's more of a spiritual karmic lesson where you might not necessarily be easily just to cut the relationship that easily. So there's a deeper spiritual lesson that needs to be transcended in such a situation. So generally, my thing is, I mean, I won't choose to watch a horror movie. I won't choose to watch adverts on TV. I see absolutely zero benefit of that. But in some relationships, I might think that there's a karmic reason why I'm being forced to listen to complaining. But if I don't have to, then I would just, if I know that there's potentially a new friend who loves complaining all the time, I'd choose not to be friends with them. Say, I know you want to be friends with me, but my feeling is we're not really compatible to be friends. So sorry, no, thank you. Not get involved in that type of thing to start with. So yeah, that's my thing on complaining. I wouldn't listen to it if I have to, and if I can avoid it easily, I would. But if I am being forced to, uh, then I would probably see it as a lesson, maybe the anti-karma prayer, or developing the observer, or canceling some belief systems that are holding such a situation in my life.